The RPG formula is built around a simple system of progress. You pretty much always start off as the generic small-time hero who must work his way through tiny ordeals and overcome the simplest of enemies. You know the likes, squishing bugs, fighting bullies, you know, small-town stuff. It's almost inevitable in every RPG that your character eventually becomes the hero of the realm. This is how most RPGs work. You start off small and become big, in some ways more physically than artificially through leveling. Which brings us to the point of this video. In Fallout New Vegas, you start off in a somewhat desolate town called Goodsprings. After being railed in the head by a mysterious man named Benny, awaking from your injuries, the town of Goodsprings acts as a small tutorial for the bigger adventure at hand. This is where you squish bugs and fight bullies. This is where you get your footing for the setting of New Vegas. Most people will slowly move on from Goodsprings after a while, and most likely will never head back. But today I ask the question, what happens if you never leave Goodsprings? Is it possible to achieve the endgame goal of maxing out your character without leaving the boundary of the town? Can you hit the maximum level of 50 without leaving Goodsprings? Now first of all, let's set up some boundaries, more importantly the boundary of Goodsprings. So like how I mentioned before, Goodsprings is pretty much the tutorial area of New Vegas, kinda like how Vault 101 is the tutorial of Fallout 3. Once you set foot outside of Goodsprings, the game will hit you with a prompt for leaving the starting zone, and this is going to act as our boundary for what we presume to be the area of Goodsprings. Here you can see I've drawn this boundary on this map. This here is where our adventure begins and ends. This is where we will try to achieve the maximum level without stepping foot outside of the yellow line. So let's begin. So immediately off the bat, I'm going to take 10 intelligence for the extra skill points. This is crucial for doing all potential XP gains within the town. I'm also going to take repair, science, and speech with good-natured and skilled to boost our skill points as high as we can, so we can pass all of the early speech checks and prompts within the town itself. 2 speech checks from Dog Mitchell, the tutorial with Sunny Smiles. Alright, we got it. We killed her too, which is good. Extra XP, you know? And killing the mantises inside of the Goodsprings school brings us quickly to level 2. I'm gonna sneeze. Let's get explosives 25. Lockpick 25 for now. Let's get Swift Learner. Whilst in the school, I picklock the safe and hack the terminal, giving us an extra 50 XP. Then I may have forgot to repair the SMG inside Doc Mitchell's house, so we go back and do that. Then we finish some of the game's inbuilt challenges and craft a bunch of ammunition for our weapons, which gives us an extra 120 XP. Lockpick the door to the saloon, hack the terminal, and move on to Goodsprings Cemetery, killing some bloatflies and accidentally launching the Goodsprings snow globe out of the arbitrary Goodsprings boundary. I'm not even kidding, if I go over that fence to try and grab that, we might be leaving the Goodsprings boundary. Don't worry, I still managed to grab it despite the fact that the snow globe gives you 0 XP. Then we head over to Sunny Smiles and finally finish her tutorial, which we then hand in by talking to Trudy, which gives us extra 50 XP. We fix her radio, another speech check. We head over to Ringo, and now we begin the part of the run where we play Caravan. See, in this game, there are challenges that are built into the game itself. Like with the ammunition crafting earlier, you get XP for doing side content that isn't actually a quest, but more of a challenge. And there is free challenges tied to the act of playing Caravan. You can get 50 XP for 5 losses in Caravan, 100 XP for 3 wins, and then an extra 50 XP for reaching 30 wins, and by God, we're gonna do them all. Now, I find Caravan pretty easy to play, so this wasn't really that difficult, just more time consuming, and after 30 minutes of playing that nonsense, we're finally done, and we're ready to level up to level 3. We're making some pretty good progress here, but the more astute members of you already know that I cannot hit level 50 within Goodsprings, and I'm essentially just wasting my time. After all, there isn't really much I can do with 3 to 4 locations and 10 NPCs? It's gonna be an uphill battle. After completing the Caravan challenges, we initiate the Ghost Town gunfight quest with Ringo. We can then pass a bunch of speech checks by talking to various members across Goodsprings, and then wipe out the powder gangers in Goodsprings themselves. This is pretty easy, we just... yeah. Good stuff. Next, we must spawn Malcolm, the bottle cap collector, by grabbing the star caps within the house left of Mitchell's house. Oh, blue star. Okay, so that should spawn in Malcolm. You can spawn Malcolm and then subsequently kill him. Of course.
What do you think?
Granting us a whopping 10 experience points. Wow. Now with that complete, there's not really much we can do outside of, well, killing everyone in Goodsprings. But we wouldn't do that, right? I missed. How did I miss?
What have you done?
Oh wait, this is where Sonny lives. Wait a second, I didn't know that. Sorry, Sonny. With everyone dead inside Goodsprings, including the livestock, we finally hit level 4 and have basically done everything that we can do without leaving the Goodsprings area. Now, some of you guys with a bit more of knowledge around New Vegas have probably noticed that I haven't mentioned Goodsprings Cave at all this entire video. That's because the cave is somewhat just outside of your reach. You can actually make it into the cave before the prompt pops up, but as soon as you exit the cave, the game gives you the exiting Goodsprings prompt. So technically, Goodsprings Cave is a part of Goodsprings, but we can't go into it for this challenge, which is very unfortunate because it's named Goodsprings Cave. Now, without butchering or breaking the game, we can hit level 4 in Goodsprings with some good XP management and skill mapping. I might be missing some small XP here and there, but the general XP gain from venturing within Goodsprings is around about 1,150 XP. Oh, wait, we forgot about Easy Pete. Oh, there's Easy Pete too. 1,160 XP, which doesn't do much in the grand scheme of things, but that brings me to the second part of this video. See, we're not really done here. This was just a test. Now it's time for the real thing. Now it's time to use glitches. Well, more specifically one glitch. In the quest Run Goodsprings Run, the alternative to the Ghost Town Gunfight quest, where this time we side with the Powder Gangers, we can initiate a dialogue bug by killing Ringo and initiating the quest with Joe Cobb.
No shit. I guess the next thing we need to do is hang out and wait for the rest of my gang to show up so we can talk about the plan.
We can then murder Joe Cobb before the fight, which allows us to spam a specific speech check. See, as part of Joe Cobb's mission, we have the option to shake down the town of Goodsprings for supplies, but with Joe Cobb dead, and the quest still active, well...
You looking to buy some supplies? What? Why the hell would I want to do that? Alright, I can... This again. What makes you think I've changed? Alright.
We can just pester Chet until the end of time, granting us an infinite source of XP until our fingers get tired. Now at this point, a bunch of you guys are just wondering why I don't enter some console commands and force myself to level 50. After all, I'm just achieving the same goal, but instead of blatantly cheating with console commands, I'm blatantly cheating with an oversight on the developer's behalf. But this is where I disagree. There's something beautiful about playing the game within the boundary of its intent, whilst also breaking it apart. After all, I could argue that I really just want to talk to Chet, and I love pestering him about his supplies. Instead of taking the easy way out by cheating with console commands, I'm gonna take the long route. Now, with a source of infinite XP, we know that we can hit max level in New Vegas without leaving Goodsprings. But the question becomes, how long does it take? After initiating the dialogue bug itself and talking to Chet for around about 15 minutes, I did finally hit level 10. Shortly after going back to mashing, it took around 36 minutes, 11 minutes on top of what it took before, to get to level 20. I was moving pretty fast and leveling was going pretty well. Level 30 took around 1 hour and 11 minutes. As you can tell, the leveling speed is starting to slow down almost immediately, and it's pretty obvious as to why. The higher your level in any RPG that is, the more XP you need to level up again. For example, getting from level 1 to level 50 in Fallout New Vegas takes around 186,200 XP, but to go from level 1 to level 35 takes under half of that, with around 90,950 XP. If anyone has played any MMO or RPG out there, you will be familiar with a system like this, whether knowingly or just by design. leveling up just normally takes more and more time as the enemies become more difficult, but more rewarding. However, for us, this means more time talking to Chet. Level 40 took me just over 1 hour and 47 minutes. Alright, here we go, level 40! We did it, boys! Level 40 in 1 hour and 47 minutes. Here we go! Level fucking 40, boys. And thus we begin the final climb to level 50, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, and 49. And eventually, after 2 hours and 30 minutes, we hit the maximum level of level 50. We're so close! And like promised, I will kill Sunny Smiles as the last deed. Wait, what? Why is she so hard to kill? Oh, okay, one sec. Here it is. Level 50! Now, in retrospect, this achievement was pretty stupid. I ended up wasting around 3 hours of my day just spamming dialogue with Chet and murdering the people of Goodsprings. But my god, does it feel good to achieve something so small and stupid. At first, my chat was doubting me and telling me I was stupid for doing this in the first place. We are putting our collective brains together, and we're keeping each other company while we work on hitting level 50 in New Vegas. I could have stopped 10 minutes ago. My fingers are hurting, but you know what? I'm gonna keep going, chat, because I think we can hit this, and I think it's a community moment that we would love.
A few moments later.
This is taking forever, dude. But eventually we all came together and finally hit level 50 in probably one of the most exciting moments on my stream, which kind of says a lot about my stream in general. And honestly, I couldn't have been happier. We finally hit level 50 in New Vegas without leaving Goodsprings, and yeah, sure, we did use a bug to achieve it, but man, this was a test of endurance. Finally, we can leave this stupid town and adventure out into the wasteland. Finally, our adventure can begin.